Yeah, I had to be here. I was the one that kind of stirred this all up, and that won't stop. And Liam and I were talking about it on the way down tonight, and he said, you know, it's so great that so many people want to know more, want to understand, be part of the process. And we said, you know, we'll go down there and we'll recognize or know 80% of the people there, because they're the people we recreate with, people we see in the backcountry and in the ski areas. So this is all a good thing. I've been working with Liam for over 35 years trying to figure out how to deal with these avalanches and what to do. And I'd like to stand up here and tell you all the stories about all the big avalanches in Little Cottonwood Canyon and the 10-foot fractures above the town of Alta and all the stacks of cars that we've piled up and pulled out of the 3rd floor of the Peruvian, and all the people we've pulled out of the Alta Lodge, and the things, you know, it's a dramatic place when it snows. And this avalanche thing just never lets up. And because it's never let up and we've got to figure out how to deal with it, I've been relentless in kind of keeping things going and trying to figure out what we're going to do when this artillery thing ends. And Liam talked about it. It's going to end one of these days. You know, whether it's, and so much of it is related, you know, we can keep finding new weapons and keep shooting artillery into the mountains forever, but so much of this is related to growth. I mean, Liam talked about the Dawn Patrol and Andrew McLean and everybody. I mean, they want to go up there, and that's great. And everybody's out there all the time. I mean, there's probably 6 hours of dark when it's kind of safe up there. And the rest of the time, there's somebody out there doing something. They're hiking up to ski, skiing down, going camping, going somewhere, getting around. And the days of shooting and throwing shrapnel around above the town of Alta, which is where we do most of our shooting, those days are going to end. I mean, I wonder quite often. Andrew, I kind of use him. I go, well, you know, we get up there on the weapon and we go, wonder where Andrew is this morning. You know, you go, wow, yeah, because I mean, this is serious stuff, this shrapnel. And so we've been looking at alternatives above the town of Alta, and then we looked at the whole canyon and said, you know, there's not as many people climb up in the White Pine Fingers as there are above the town of Alta, but people are going everywhere, and we see the day coming. So we've been working on how to come up with alternatives to this artillery era. And we got the plan. A lot of you have seen the plan. You can see it on UDOT's website. It talks about all these sections of the road. We consulted the best experts in the world, said, what are the alternatives? Take everything in the world, everything you know about, apply it to our canyon, and tell us what we can do different. And they came back with recommendations for all the sections of the highway. Town of Alta is a little complicated. They said, you know, you could, like Liam said, you could put a whole bunch of gas X's up there. You could put Swiss-style snow fences and lace every slide path 3/4 of the way down, fill them up with fences, and stop all the snow. And I think that would work. You know, we've got a couple snow fences in Alta, the top of the bypass road. Those work. That slide path hasn't slid for a while. If you make them big enough and strong enough, that would work. Everything's got some consequence. And we try to know as much as we can about all these alternatives ahead of time. So if the day Liam described comes tomorrow, we're going, well, we better figure out what to do for an alternative. Just before we did this plan for the whole canyon, I mean, you were talking about the mid-canyon section and the White Pine Fingers. Liam barely sleeps. I mean, I'm surprised I got him down here. He worries so much about the White Pine Fingers. It doesn't take much snow or much of an avalanche. 2 nights ago, early in the morning, we hit Mayor Tom Pollard and his family got hit by a slide in the White Pine Fingers. And it was just, you know, it just doesn't take, they're so close to the road, it doesn't take much of an avalanche. And we, you know, that's a struggle. And we've looked at snow fences, we've looked at snow sheds. just before we did this plan for the whole canyon, I hired some folks and did a study for relocating the road from Maybird up to Entry 1, because the state-of-the-art in avalanche control work is to move the problem. If you've got a building that gets hit, move the building. If you've got a road that gets hit, move the road. You know, and we looked at moving the road, said, you know, if you put it over on the other side of the creek, it won't get hit. Of course, that's got problems and considerations, as anything we do in this realm does. But, and then so we did this whole study. We looked at everything from road relocation to snow sheds to everything that we could think of, applied it to that. And then we want to learn about all these options, so if something comes up, we got away, we're not way behind doing it. Last spring, I was sitting around bored, was done skiing, not much going on, you know, you kind of trying to ramp down from the season. I went, you know, we should really figure out, you know, we sit over in the ski area, look at that side all the time. Our snow safety guys sit around and talk about, you know, what are we going to do if we ever have to go over there, we lose artillery, we have to go over there and do control work. How are we going to do it? How would you get to the ridge? How would you run routes? What would you do? So we do our homework. We think about it. And so we went, okay, heck, let's sit down and have a little session on that. We said, if you could put a lift up there, if that was the alternative, where would you put it? We picked this line that's on Flagstaff Mountain because it's the best line we could think of over there. We went, you know, if Liam talked about the return interval on avalanche. You're still going to have some avalanches. You don't want to have avalanches where your lift line is. We picked that as what we thought was a good line. Said, let's do a lift profile on that just so we can see how it would go if we ever have to. We've got that all done. We can talk to lift manufacturers. You can figure out how to do that. We went up and did it on the snow last spring because it's a really low impact way to do it. You don't have to walk around in the wildflowers to do it. It's not a real accurate survey by any means, but it's plenty accurate for doing your homework and knowing that part of the thing. And we went, okay, now we've got that data, we know it, we can think about it, we've gone up there, gone both ways on the ridge, go, yeah, you know, we could do this. If this is how we had to do control work and UDOT wanted to do it this way, we could do that, because we know if UDOT decides that that's something they want to look at, we're going to be in the game with them. It's our town, it's our ski area, it's what we do. We help them shoot the weapons, we help them do everything. We want to continue to do that. So it was a homework project. We don't have any proposals on the table. We haven't, you know, Steve Scheid from the Forest Service, we've got a proposal, it's anything to do with our ski area or Forest Service lands. We put it together, it goes through the public process, and if UDOT or us or anybody ever comes up with that idea, decides it's something we got to look at further, or it's an option for replacing artillery, there'll be a ton of public process. Everybody will, all the issues will be able to be out there. You're all familiar with the NEPA process. It's a great public process, and nothing goes unturned, I don't think, in that process. So I think we don't have a proposal on the table. You know, I think if in the 70 years we've been around, somebody would have thought that was the best place to go skiing, we'd have put a lift there a long time ago. We ski over on the north-facing stuff. It's a nice place to ski, and you know, if there was ever a day to go over there and do skier compaction as part of a thing, you know, we can go over there in the sunshine, and it's a nice place. But we don't have a proposal on the table today. We're just doing our homework. But we're going to keep doing our homework on all the parts of this, because avalanches are a big issue in our town. Always have been, always will be.